Well, a lot of people know who Tina Wesson is, the Survivor winner from season 2, and she's from East Tennessee right here. And since that time, she's been busy speaking all over the country, but also one thing you're doing is helping people with arthritis. Tell us a little your story and why.
Well, I was diagnosed in 1995, and I was like a lot of people who thought that, well, it can't be arthritis, that's an old person's disease. But in all actuality, it's very common for women in their 30s to develop RA. And so early diagnosis is very, very important. So I got to my rheumatologist, and there's so many medications out there now, Missy, that are great. You've got people who were in wheelchairs who can walk, and some of the medications actually stop the progression of the disease. So if you can get an early diagnosis and get on your medicine before the damage is done, then you're one step ahead of the game.
So you were able to take your medication on Survivor?
I was. That's one of the things they allow. They allow you, if you have contacts, to take your contacts and medications. I couldn't have done it without it. But as long as I take my medication, I can do just about anything.
Well, you're still out there living in the mountains, hiking sometimes 12 miles out of town. What do you take now to get through this arthritis? Because to me, you look just as active as you always were. What are you taking now? Maybe tell people what you're doing to keep you going.
Okay. Well, whenever I first started on with arthritis, I had to take prednisone, and I took that for years and years at a low dose, and that's a pretty rough medicine. Then I switched, and I've been on methotrexate now for about 6 years. It's a chemotherapy type drug. It's kind of harsh, and you have to have your blood work done. I take my blood work about every 3 months. Just to make sure your liver and kidneys, everything's functioning properly. But as long as I take, and they're just teeny little tiny pills, but as long as I take them, I can do just about anything.
Well, tell people, what are you doing now that's still active and letting you be outside and do the things you enjoy? What are some things that you do? Because I guess exercise is important too, the modification.
Absolutely. I've always been very, very active, and I've had to give up a few of my sports like running, and I was a tennis player, but I've replaced those. Now I can bike, play racquetball instead of tennis, hike. I know you enjoy hiking, so we have that in common. Swimming's always good. I think for any injury or any sports, they'll say get out there and swim because it's such a low impact on your joints. It's so
a
good
lot of
for
people think that you couldn't do anything, but that's just not the case.
It isn't the case. Of course, anybody with RA, they have to be able to assess their own body and their joints and not overdo it, but all the physicians will tell you a little bit of exercise. Even for people with a severe case of RA, they need to keep those joints loose and moving.
Well, you're an amazing testament of how you've gotten through arthritis. What's next for you as far as you've been speaking a lot? What keeps you going?
I think my love for life and my zeal for just living, I think every day on this planet is such a blessing, and who knows when your time's over and you're going to check out. So I get up in the mornings and I'm just ready to attack the world. And right now I'm living in North Carolina, and so I'm thinking about starting up a little motorcycle touring company.
Motorcycle mama.
Yeah, and so now I'm able to have a little bit more freedom in my life because the children are getting older, so I can go and do more, and so that's what I plan to do.
And you're still talking some, though, for the Arthritis
I am,
Foundation.
yeah. Some people will hire me to come out and talk to their group about RA, and church groups will hire me for that, and corporate, so.
When she was busy, too, she wrote this book, Outlive, Outlaugh, Outlove, and that's really summarizes what you've done. And it's a neat little devotional that you did. You really put a lot of thought and effort into this book.
Well, it's my motto. I think that my message in the book is to just be a good human while you're here on the planet. The second commandment was, love your neighbor as yourself. And I think if we do that, we're one step ahead of the game.
Well, you've done a great job. And you're not only a survivor, but I want to say you're inspiration to so many other people. And I hope to hike with you soon.
I hope so too. Come on.
Okay, thanks so much, Tina Wesson. Talk about people can reach you how?
TinaWesson.com. It's the easiest way.
Okay, and you might see her out there on the trails or the roads on the motorcycle or the bike too.
I hope so.
Okay, thanks so much, Tina Wesson. And now let's send it back to Dr. Bob.